As we approach the last day of June of this year, we have a lot of things going on right now with the Dial of Destiny just hitting theaters and everything happening over at Lucasfilm and Disney, as of course the Disney higher-ups are really creating a restructuring of Lucasfilm. We talked about this just yesterday. If you guys want to go ahead and look up what's going on with the Lucasfilm purge, everything related to really right-sizing their roadmap, canceling Star Wars movies, Star Wars TV shows, and replacing them with more quality-driven ones. That's going to simplify the roadmap and become more focused on quality-driven material moving onwards. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. And let's get right into exactly what's going on here with Jon Favreau. Now, we talked about this a month or two ago, that there was a specific Star Wars TV show that was getting revived, and how Jon and Dave were attached to that revival, and they've been working on this for a very long time now. It got greenlit about a month or two ago. It's been a thing like that was in the works for the past year and a half. And what's interesting now is that we have Bob Iger really beginning to get very frightened about his role as CEO and what kind of legacy he's going to be leaving behind once he plans to leave by 2024, mind you. This is where things begin to get a little interesting about what Jon Favreau had to do in order to really kind of clean up over at Lucasfilm and to really kind of reshape the company. So basically what Bob Iger pushed on Jon Favreau to do was to cancel a specific Star Wars TV show, and we're going to be covering every single detail about what's really going on. Now, with both Jon and Dave attempting to course correct the Star Wars franchise, however, with Disney getting ready to fine-tune its Star Wars roadmap, along the way, Jon Favreau agreed to cancel one of the upcoming Star Wars shows that has been up and coming. Now, one of the big developments behind the scenes is that Disney executives, along with Bob Iger, insisted to Favreau in canceling the Mandalorian spin-off series, Rangers of the New Republic, that was going through a phase of renewal. It's described that the cancellation of the revived version of the show that was initially also canceled, that was set for 2025, is part of the Lucasfilm purge that is taking place, that was greenlit by Disney, that is allowing Iger to cancel multiple shows and films attached to Star Wars and Marvel. Now, on top of this, Jon tried to fight this with Disney, however lost, and that now Rangers is going to be cancelled. So it's not just a Lucasfilm purge, there's also a purge happening with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. A lot of projects are getting cancelled here and there, and or delayed. And so this is more pertaining to Lucasfilm, though. This is more Lucasfilm focused. And this is just the start. So far, the Rey film, the James Mangold movie, and Dave's movie are still standing, but there's a lot of other movies that are beginning to fall apart. We'll be talking about that later on as well. But what's really upsetting about this is that this show had so much potential, and it just goes to show you the back and forth that happens between Disney and Lucasfilm, to the point where, honestly guys, it's getting very tiring. We have a lot of these shows and or movies getting greenlit, then canceled, then greenlit again, and then getting canceled, rinse and repeat. However, this time around, apparently Rangers is officially dead. It is not even going to have a chance of getting, revived or renewed, whatever you want to call it. Not happening. And what's sad about this is we're going to be covering exactly why it's a little bit more depressing than what we just talked about. Alright, so as you all know, this show was supposed to bring back Cara Dune in all her glory. Now, so far, Gina is still in the talks to reprise her role as a cameo or two in The Mandalorian Season 4 for starters, so that's still a go. But her role as Cara Dune in Rangers is now 100% sabotaged. It's not happening, at least in that show, to be specific. Not in general, but in that show only. Now, to the next thing, this was one of the shows in which it was going to feature Gina Carano, and her return as Cara Dune as one of the main characters. Now her return is said to be dwindled down to just a couple of cameos planned for Mando Season 4 for 2025. The main reason why Iger got Favreau to cancel the show was that it was going over budget, and after suffering many losses with Disney's Elemental and other Disney projects like Ant-Man 3, as well as what they are about to embrace with Indiana Jones 5, it has caused Disney's higher-ups to restructure Lucasfilm's project out of a very last-minute phase. this contains movies and shows. However, Favreau eventually agreed on canceling the show anyway, also due to the fact that even he admitted to Disney in a recent meeting that he had too much work on his back for Star Wars and needed room to be cleared up anyway to properly focus on certain shows with a better creative vision. With the revised version of Rangers now off the table, Jon and Dave are already being offered a new slot to take its place and will be giving Disney a new pitch for a new show for them to greenlight by, of course, 2025. That meeting will be done next month. So what's interesting about this, and it's not just the writer's strike that's causing more trouble, it's also what's going on with a lot of these box office failures that have been happening at Disney, and not just failures, but also films and or projects that are not meeting Disney's initial expectations. And that is a little worrisome as to what's going to happen with other shows that maybe we are all looking forward to. I'm hoping Ahsoka does well. You know, that has a lot of potential there because that's 100% Dave Filoni, and if you know Dave Filoni, he's the true protege of George Lucas. Now, there's some people out there that aren't fans of Dave, and that's fine and all. A lot of people may have doubts about Filoni, but I'm willing to give Ahsoka a shot. There's a lot of things happening behind the scenes for that show that we have to talk about still, that have been happening throughout this month. But apart from this, what's interesting is that Favreau really felt like this was a blessing in disguise, because he didn't want to cancel this in the long run, but once he was put into the position where it was out of his control, he decided to give it the go and cancel it altogether. He had too much stress on his work. And look, these guys are really going above and beyond. Jon and Dave are working way too hard with these shows to the point where maybe it's best to kind of keep things a little bit more simple, because if you're working on too many things at once, you're going to lack focus. And these shows are going to feel very rushed. The writing's going to be very sloppy. It's not going to be very well created. So I feel having less shows and or projects to work on is only going to make, a bigger chance of improvement for these upcoming projects. So be it the Dave Filoni movie or the upcoming Star Wars shows, whatever have you, right now Bob Iger, the Disney higher-ups, etc., this Lucasfilm purge they feel is absolutely necessary, and it's going to be happening throughout the next couple of months and beyond. We're going to be covering all of that as we go, so stay tuned for that as well. And guys, Dial of Destiny is out now, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens this weekend. Come Monday, we should be able to get those actual box office numbers officially by the morning to see exactly where the weekend stands for Indiana Jones 5. If it has a really bad weekend opening, not a good sign. Not a good sign at all. Let me be honest about that, because then you got July 4th, you got people doing their thing, and so on and so forth. So what's interesting too about this is that Jon really is being offered another slot now to give them a new pitch of a new show to take that 2025 slot, apart from Mando Season 4. So anyways, guys, I would love to hear your take on this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.